What is up, everybody? Welcome back. You know, I like to always start these shows off giving love to all those companies that help make this podcast possible. First and foremost, it's going to be our friends over at Yellow Jacket. Guys, more than 70 years ago, Jack Ritchie set a goal for Ritchie Engineering to become the standard by which all other HVAC hoses are measured. In the last 7 decades, the Yellow Jacket brand has not only become the standard in hoses, tools, refrigeration gauges, manifolds, HVAC vacuum pumps, and refrigerant recovery machines, it's become legendary. How have they done it? Through an unwavering commitment to excellence. It's the single most important attribute in the longevity of the company. While other companies sold out, sent work overseas, or lessened quality, the relentlessness, commitment of their people has led to 70 years of best-in-class products, first-class customer service, and innovations that make the contractor's job easier worldwide. That's us. So guys, let's join Yellow Jacket in the next 70 years as they commit to changing the standard once again. Guys, 70 years of excellence building to every tool, Yellow Jacket. Next is going to be our friends that we keep getting emailed about. It's going to be Interplay Learning. Guys, we are in the process of working out a discount code with them. As soon as I get it, I will pass that on to you. I'm sorry I cannot respond to all of your emails sometimes, but as soon as we get that code, I will make sure that you all have it. All right? Interplay Learning is founded back in 2016. Interplay Learning is the leading global provider of online and virtual reality training and essential skilled trades. They're based out of Austin, Texas. Interplay Learning develops and delivers scalable, highly effective digital learning simulations for the HVAC, plumbing, electrical, solar, and facilities maintenance workforce. They use a digital learning platform that allows company owners to let their people practice hands-on learning, but still be able to work the next day. It's earn while you learn. Guys, this is groundbreaking stuff, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg like the traditional schools that you can have a guy work during the day, making the company money, at night getting better at what he does or she does, and it's a win-win for everybody. So guys, go check out Interplay Learning at www.interplaylearning.com, and we will have that discount code for you soon. All right, on to the show.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all of our global listeners.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
If you're trying to take your HVAC game to the next level, then buckle your seatbelt, crank up the volume, and try not to be offended, because you're listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast with Gil Cavey and Kelley McKay. Now, here's Gil and Kelley.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. I am your host, Gil Cavey Jr., sitting alongside my buddy old pal, Mr. Kelley, mother effing HVAC millionaire McKay, and you better know who the fuck he is. Anyway, what's up, Kelley?
You embarrass me every time you do that.
Why? It's good. People should know, damn it.
I appreciate that. No, not much, man. I'm excited. Tonight we got our good buddy, Mr. Tersh Blissett. He's back with us from the Service Business Mastery podcast. So glad to have him. How you doing, Tersh?
Hold on. I think I had the same problem. Hold on, Tersh. It's not letting me. There you go.
What's up?
What is up, Mr. Tersh? For all you guys out there, if you're living under a rock, Tersh is the host of the Service Business Mastery podcast. And Tersh, I show nothing but love to that podcast. And I normally do tell people, and this is the truth, if you're an HVAC business owner, I think that your podcast is the best one out there for just straight up business. Like, we try to provide value to people as well, but all the different topics that you cover, I really think you can't beat it, man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the shout out. Yeah. We do talk about a lot of diverse things. It's definitely, I try to really outside the box is my goal. Honestly, the thing that we always say on the show is, answer the unasked questions. A lot of times when we start a business, we have no idea what questions we should be asking. So I just want to have guests come on that are experts and can answer those questions and then make you think.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Some of those guests are like things you wouldn't think about, but it's a topic that ties into a bigger topic overall. So rather than having like one guest do like SEO, it's like 4 different guests, but you put them all together and it's like, oh shit, that makes so much sense.
Right.
Yeah, that's nuts. I was going to say something until I forgot what the fuck I was going to say. So,
no, that really is my goal though. I would wish that I had the schedule built out so that all of my SEO interviews were released at the same time, but sometimes they just don't make sense to hold them for a couple months to release them later on. Sometimes I get so excited when I have the interview. I'm like, oh, I got to get this. We have like
900 podcasts that come out.
I was going to say you record one every day. So it's like,
so I record every Wednesday and I record typically about 4, sometimes 5 episodes every Wednesday. And then, I try to release them once a week, but sometimes it's like, okay, I'm going to release a few more extra ones. I actually like you do
that. And me and Kelley have talked about it. And now with my position, what I'm doing now, I might start trying to do that where me and Kelley do pick a day and record a couple of podcasts that day. And
I would love that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, and
it's really, we record, most everyone listening to the podcast knows that we record, fairly late at night. So it's like a lot of guests that we'd love to have on the show. They just they're not that flexible. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've got their schedules and I totally respect that and understand, but it'd be nice to be able to squeeze some people in throughout the day and make it more convenient for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. So we've had a lot of, we've had a lot of success worldwide, and we're starting to get a lot of people who are in like Australia and on that side of the world, even in China and Japan, who want to be on the show. And that creates a pretty difficult time restraint too, because I have to do it either really late or really early in the morning. And I've gotten up at like 4:00 in the morning to do an interview before. And so and it's horrible too, because I'm not a morning person at all. So it's like, I'm trying to think of questions. I'm trying to stay awake. And it's just, I think it's a horrible episode. People find value out of it, but most people who are on the show are authors or about to release a book or something like that. So a lot of times I'm really interested in what they have to say and why they are an expert, because some people they're just recommended to me by other people. And I'm like, I've never heard of that person. Then I'll read their book and I'm like, oh, dang, this person's smart, like way smarter than me. So it's easy for me to ask questions. And then they're like, well, what do you want to talk about? I was like, hell, I want to talk about my business. Like, how are you going to fix my business? How are you going to make my business better?
We had that happen with the, I think it's called Just the Air Conditioning Podcast. The 2 brothers that are in Australia wanted us to be on me and Kelley to be on their show. And then we were going to do the same thing. But it was like the schedule, and we were talking like in the summer, and I was like, dude, like this, we can't make this happen, man. Like I don't, but they seem really cool. And I think we're going to do something, in the next few months or whatever, but I like that. The Phrygies or whatever they call them. Everybody does AC the Phrygie.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I did that so that I could say no. So I created a pretty strict schedule. Mondays and Fridays, I work in the business. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I network. Well, before the pandemic, I would network every Tuesday and Thursday. And then Wednesdays was nothing but podcast days. So if you wanted to podcast, I send you my calendar link and it just had Wednesdays available. And they're like, well, my next Wednesday isn't available for 3 months. I'm like, well, we'll talk in 3 months then. It's just easier to say no whenever somebody has a networking event on a Monday night. It's like, nope, I only network on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it keeping that strict schedule also allows me to say no to other things, because I'm definitely a yes man, where I'm like that FOMO, that fear of missing out. So it's like, I'll kill myself with just trying to go and do stuff. I think that's why we've had
people conform for our schedule. But I do think if we did something during the day and we could knock out, 2 or 3 podcasts back to back, that it would just be so much easier because every time we get some in the queue and we get ahead, something fucking happens where I got to use them and then we're backed out and I don't have an episode and it sucks. But I do let people know that I just being honest, the podcast is last on the list of priorities though, It's going to be my business, my family, my business, and then sometimes. The podcast. So that's just, it is what it is,
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
In at the beginning of 2000, well, I'd say probably the middle of 2018. No, beginning of 2018, I was really kind of like, I was struggling. It was the same thing. It was like, all right, somebody would cancel on a Monday and I needed to release on Wednesday. Now I got to come up with content before Wednesday. And so it would stress me out. So I started this routine. And then now I have about 65 interviews that are in the queue. And that also gives me some ammunition whenever I'm talking to people like, hey, look, if this interview sucks, it's not getting posted. So just so you know, you better bring your A game.
We had a couple of those that we had to put out. Me and Kelley, we talked to each other afterwards. Like, yeah, this is going to fucking blow, but we got to put it out. So it's like,
I'm texting him halfway through it. I'm like, in this, like just painful.
Yeah. Or people like, it's like audio version. Like we want to start doing more of the video. And to be honest, I'll probably release this video. But some of them are like, cool. It's like, hey, well, why? And I'm not going to say the name of this company because we all know it, but it's like, oh, well, if someone's in the market for this, why would they go with you? Oh, because we're the best. I'm like, you use your words, motherfucker. Like, use your words. Like what do you mean? Like, can you elaborate? Like, we got to fill an hour, not 30 seconds. It's not a commercial.
Well, mine is the concerns that I have is like, so I really just want to make sure that everybody, like you're listening to the show and I don't want you to lose interest because it's too high level. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just like some stuff is like way over my head. And if we're talking about nerd stuff that I'm interested in and you're way over my head, like my man that's just in the truck, just started his own business. He don't care about that. Like, and so it's like, we were talking one time about Roth IRAs and investing that and how to make your real estate do work for you. I'm like, man, that's really cool stuff. But I don't know a lot of people that really give a crap about that. And not when they're trying to build their HVAC company or their plumbing company, whatever. It's tough to have that conversation. And I'll go back to them later, their PR person or whoever it is that connected us. And it's like, I might release it. I'll edit it. If it edits good, I'll release it. But if not, I'm just going to let you know it might not ever get released. And then that and trash audio, man, beforehand, before we ever record, I send out the memo. Hey, look, make sure you have some good microphone. If you don't have anything, use this, like get this off of Amazon. It's $12, for this cheap microphone headset. And then they come to me with like the little earpieces that come with your iPad or whatever, or your iPhone. And it's just like the whole time it's like rubbing on your shirt or your lapel. And I'm like, I got to edit this. Like, I got to make this sound good. Like, and it's horrible if it's really good content.
People
but
realize how hard it is to make that sound good. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. It's a lot of work to cut that shit out and scrub it and try to fix that little piece, but make sure it blends in with the rest of the conversation. And it's tough. And that's how we need to get. I mean, there's been some that have been so bad. Thank God most of them have been decent, but that's how.
Yeah. No, they sound good. I haven't heard, although I don't drive as much as I used to. And that's whenever I always listen to shows, but I haven't heard any bad. But we also, I feel like our little group of podcasters who grew up together kind of, I feel like we've all pretty much invested in some pretty nice equipment. So we can start, editing some of that stuff out and change some of your sounds as we go along in the show. It's like, if I'm hearing something horrible, maybe I can adjust it or whatever. But I remember when we first started and I had like that ATR 2100 with the USB hook up, and it's like there's not much I can do right now. I have to go through Audacity or something.
Volume down. I went from 100 to 96. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I remember a couple of our first episodes. Like I went back and listened to them not long ago, and I'm like, oh my god, these are atrocious. Like,
you know, mine's the same way, but that's the ones that I get the most downloads. The people love them. Like the first couple episodes, like the first season, really, they're like, oh man, it's just so authentic. And you did have a lot of ums in it and ands and stuff like that, but it was, and you could tell you were nervous in the conversation and all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah, I was. And now you're lucky if I edit your ums out. You're on the show. We're releasing this.
That's how I am. I don't cut it out anymore because, and I think that's what's been for our growth is because I try to keep it as natural and transparent as possible. Like I leave it in there. It is what it is. Like people used to joke, you know, I would say, or something. And now whatever, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Hell, most of our episodes are live anyways. So we record them live on Facebook, and then I'll immediately post it to YouTube. And then maybe a month, maybe 2 months later, it'll actually come out on a podcast platform.
Maybe we should start doing that, Kelley, if we do that. Yeah, just do the live ones at the time of recording. Because I do like that. And it seems, they say the video podcast is where it is right now. Like people want to see who's talking and the interaction you're having between each other. Because I know I like it when you pop yours up, Tersh, and it's during the day. Like I like sitting there watching it.
Yeah. I get a lot of people that say that they'll just, because a lot of people get Facebook notification on their desktop and they'll just pop it open even if they're not watching it and just be bopping around their office or whatever. And then it's cool whenever people interact with them and they like ask questions while it's going live, because then I can ask whoever the expert is that's on the actual show, the question that whatever the watcher might have.
Add more value to the whole thing that way, because then that expert, like, more value to your audience because they can be there. Like it makes them want to be there live. Like, oh, I want to ask this question to see what the answer is.
Yeah. It's just interactive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, I really like stumping my guest because first off, most of them I don't know. And most of them are really freaking smart. And so if I can ask them a question that's going to stump them, I love it. It gets me off. I just like, let's stump this guy.
Honestly, I thought about taking the uncensored part to a whole nother level. And actually like starting shit now, like when people come on, like, you know, oh, well, I remember you said this, like, don't you think that's pretty like scumbagish? Like, you know, can you tell us what you mean by that? But then it's gonna like, nobody's going to want to come on the show. Like,
I don't know. Some people like that. I mean, hell, they got a show called Roasted where you actually get roasted. And there's a Reddit forum where they're like, roast me. That's weird. I wouldn't, not my cup of tea, but you know, whatever.
It's funny. I still got a post on the thing I did on Facebook about John Israel fucking 2 years ago. And some guy's like, oh my God, you guys are like, when me and Ralph did it. And he's like, you guys are like woman talking about this. He's like, karma's going to come back and get you. I'm like, dude, that was 2 years ago, fuckface. Not to mention, if you think karma's going to come back and get me because I outed someone for scamming a community, I was like, go shit in your hat, bro. Like, get out of here.
You had that other guy too that was trying to argue about something, or I don't even know. I think you were arguing even about technical stuff like service work or something. You remember? And you had like a beef with him and he actually came on.
Oh, yeah, they got Ross the troll.
Right.
Yeah, I took that video down. Yeah, because he was a bully, dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'll go live. Would you come on live? I'm like, dude, I'll eat your ass alive. This is my my home turf. And you know, it took him forever to come on. And he's like, you know, well, my link wasn't working. I'm like, fucking 8 people came in here, but somehow your link wasn't working. Like, all right, you know? And then I was trying to be cool at the end because he started to calm down because he knew that, you know, it was different, and asking him like stupid questions, but I wasn't going to sit there and like, you know, debate the fucking refrigeration cycle with the guy. Like, I don't care that much.
Yeah, that's me. Like at the end of the day, if I'm right, if you're right and I'm wrong, is it going to change my paycheck?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Who cares? Not off topic. Do you think AHR is actually going to happen this year?
I don't know, man. I talked to Nicole and she was really excited about it, and they seemed like they were, but then I seen a post not too long ago that they were kind of questioning it. And I was like, I don't know, but I got something in store for everybody. If it does happen, just so y'all know, be prepared. Something's going to happen big. And the AHR already knows about it. So I don't have the approval from the official AHR, but I got the nod.
Yeah, I got Nicole. It's been a little bit since I talked to her. But I definitely want to be there. And now it's planned. Like last time I didn't know what to expect. And like the first podcast, I'm like, Tersh, can I interview, man? Because I didn't know what the fuck to expect, and I don't even know.
I mean, it's cool because even at that, nobody really knew what to expect with that particular layout. I'd been to several AHRs, and I knew that we probably weren't going to get a ton of traffic because when you get there in the mornings, everybody bum rushes and they're like, all right, we're going to walk 15 miles today. So let's just get started. And so there's not a whole lot of traffic outside, but we couldn't be inside there because the background noise would have been unbearable as far as editing, you know? So it was kind of a catch-22, but they said that they were trying to do something maybe not necessarily in the same space inside the space, but having it so that we're more centralized and we're more people walk past us and that type of stuff. Because we got a lot of good feedback. Because even like going to the parties after parties, and then the next day, people were walking by, hey, what's up? Like they recognized you from the after party from the night before.
We were famous, you know, really kids coming up like, oh, hey man, Gil. I'm like, hey, how you doing, man? Like,
total imposter syndrome going on.
Nobody special, like, you know. And then you come home and it's like, yeah, it's just me again. Yeah, but I wish like
we're not special.
You know, at some point this gets big enough to where like there's a stage like how there was like those pavilion things there, like the things that were real high. Yeah, like
crossover.
Put it up there as we're looking down over it, talking, and they can hear it over the speakers. But then again, all of these people pay a lot of money for those booths. They don't want anything taking any attention off of what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not only that, like for AHR to give us a spot there, like how much revenue would they lose because they did that? So that would be a massive commitment on their behalf.
That's crazy. I guess
where will it be this year if it does happen?
Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago.
Yeah. So I think these. Yeah. It's only Orlando, Chicago, Vegas, and Atlanta is the only big places big enough to handle it.
They used to do it in New York, and it was a weird rotation. So like it was every 6 years they would like randomly throw it in New York, and then it would go back to the other rotation, and then like or something crazy like that. Maybe it was 10 years. Every 10th year they would go to New York or something. But I haven't been there. Vegas, I think Vegas is next year. Yeah, that would make sense. So Vegas, I think, don't hold me to this, but I think Vegas might be next year. Then it would go back to Atlanta and then go back to Orlando.
From what I've heard, I think that is what it is.
Yeah.
Vegas, I'm definitely going to that one.
I am down for some Vegas.
After parties were fun in Orlando. I could imagine what they're going to be in Vegas.
Dude, Brent. So when we were in Atlanta, Brent and I and Billy and somebody else, man, we crashed all kinds of after parties. It was wild. Brent's like, let's go over here. Let's go over there. I'm like, I don't even know these people. And then we got hooked up with the HVAC jerks, and they're like, let's go over here. And I'm like, I don't know who these people are. And then I get there and like 20 or 30 people know who I am. And they're like, oh yeah, let's talk about this. And they are sloppy drunk by then, because it's like 11:30 at night. And I'm like, oh man, this is not going to be good. We shut that bar down. They shut it down as soon as they ran out of alcohol. It was a brewery. So the brewery ran out of alcohol. And I was like, man, like these people were sloppy drunk. And I wasn't drinking because I had to drive, and I was driving through Atlanta. So I was like, nah, I'm not trying to go to jail and then skip AHR tomorrow. But man, we were going from one party to the next. And I wound up getting back to my Airbnb at like 3:00 in the morning, and I edited. So in Atlanta, I edited my interviews throughout the day. I edited them each night and uploaded them. And oh my God, I slept like an hour that night. It was horrible the next day. And then I had to get in at AHR. I had to be there at 7 a.m. to be inside interviewing people before the crowds got inside. And so
that is cool that we can do that they roll out the red carpet where we can just go in and do whatever the hell we want. Got our own little room with food and bathrooms and
yeah, they do it right. I mean, that's for sure. They are by far from what I've experienced so far. I've gotten the best treatment from AHR. Now I was getting first class treatment from ACA, but then they had to cancel it like the week before it actually happened. But it was in St. Louis, and I was like, man, I got my ticket, I'm going. And then like, are we going? We're not going. We got a hotel still. And then like the week before, they're like, nah, we're not going to be able to do it. Cause it was like the last week of March or something like that. And so they were treating me real good. I mean, but I didn't get to go through and actually experience it.
I was worried that when we were down in Orlando that there was only like one confirmed case of COVID in the country that time, but there was people from all over the place down there. And we're bumping elbows.
Yeah, bro. I bet you there was so much COVID floating around that place when we were there. We just didn't know it for 14 days when we got back. You get back in midway through February, everybody's going to redistribute it all over the country.
Aren't you the one who had the picture of the people who didn't get their products and they like drew it on sheets? And then like the people came in and shut them down because they were like.
No. That's not what happened. So have you heard of the company Big Ass Fans? So this was a Chinese knockoff of Big Ass Fans, and the U.S. Marshals came in and shut them down. And just straight up U.S. Marshals wrapped the sheets around them, like anything that resembled, because they were like black fans instead of silver, because Big Ass Fans are silver with the yellow tips. These were black fans with the yellow tips, identical. They looked the exact same. Even their logo was almost the exact same, but it wasn't the donkey. But it looked like they just cut half the donkey off or something. Like it was straight knockoff. And I was like, the whole time I was going through it, like the pre-setup, and I was taking videos and just like, hey, this is cool. I want to check this booth out whenever they actually set everything up, or maybe I'll interview this one. And I went to this one. I was like, I feel like this is probably not right. I took a picture of it and a video of it, and I sent it to a couple of people. And I'm like, it's not Big Ass Fans, but maybe Big Ass Fans doesn't have the trademark, because I know there's a lot of people like manifolds where like a lot of people will just white label it and change the stuff. And I was like, maybe that's what this is, but like that looks almost like the Big Ass Fan logo. And then sure as hell, the next morning at 8 a.m., U.S. Marshals come bombarding in there, rushing in there. They're wrapping everything up, like taping it up and putting things on it. And like people were escorted out there. They were like arrested or some crap and just walked out in handcuffs. And like the people that were in charge of the booth magically weren't there. Like they just didn't show up that morning because they were out partying too much the night before, apparently, or something. I don't know. But
yeah, that is wild.
Wow, that thing. It was so nuts.
That's crazy. I knew there was something because I remember you posting something, and it was I forget, you had a picture of something, and I was like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, it was the sheets around it, like they had taken, and the U.S. Marshals and FBI had taken the sheets, like bedroom sheets, and just wrapped it around the whole booth, so you couldn't see inside of it. That's
crazy. I know we've been willy-nilly this conversation, but I really like the conversation we started off air about when we were talking about pricing stuff in the off season. Like, I think maybe that would be a good conversation just to have for some people right now about,
yeah, I mean, honestly, you need to be, I'm guilty of not doing this. So I'm preaching to the choir. Like we're all guilty of it, especially when we get busy. You should be checking and changing your price book quarterly. Like, it's a pain, like, especially if it's not digital. Like, ours is an Excel spreadsheet. We can export it out. And like most people are using Service Titan, you can export your price book out, change your hourly rate, and then, import it back in. And it's not that difficult, especially if you're using the Pricebook Pro. It's really simple.
I just had my first onboarding with that today. Mm-hmm.
Pricebook Pro. Yeah. I mean, it's really simple if you have Pricebook Pro. Just change your hourly rate if that's what it is. I mean, if you need to adjust your hourly rate. And then also what a lot of people don't do is like, your manufacturer, like whatever your vendors, like your supplies, like how out of date are those? Like, you got the same vendor pricing that you had 10 years ago in your price book. Like, contactors, they're not $4 anymore. It's like, oh, we're still pricing this off a $4 contactor. But like, what I do is I have my vendors. First off, I'll have my vendors send me a list of the top 100 things that I bought year to date, or, for the past year. And so then I know what I'm buying the most often, because that also helps with my inventory in my vans, because we drive them little Transit Connects. So we can get around town. They're smaller, get better gas mileage. But with that being said, our inventory has to be on point with those things, because if you get a bunch of over inventory in that, you start to crowd up those little vans. And so I'll get them to send me my top 100 used items. And if it's not on that top 100 used items list, like, I'll take the inventory off the vans. And so that does two things. It helps with the inventory on the vans, but it also helps with the pricing. So I can go right back into my price book and say, there's a spike in, because we use turbo capacitors, and we've always got a hella deal on them. But like, we're getting them like $30 a capacitor, something stupid cheap. And because it was the only capacitor we were using, they knew that that's what we were going with. But they shot up to like $50 or $55 a capacitor or something crazy. And so, like, otherwise, if I didn't know that, I would have lost basically $20 on every capacitor that we changed out. And we don't change out a whole lot. I'll give you a little secret sauce. We don't change out a lot of capacitors. There's some guys that's listening, and gals that are listening, that, they're changing out 5, 6, 10 capacitors a day. And we change out, I'd say probably 3 or 4 a week, maybe. And that's probably stretching it, because, we're offering complete upgrades of the outdoor unit. We're replacing motors and stuff like that. You're just offering all them options. So it's not just swapping turbo or capacitors out, because it's just such a disservice whenever you're only offering that one option.
Yeah, well, there's just so much more to it. Like, it's just, and that's what guys think. They hear the word sales and they jump back like, I'm a tech, I'm not a salesman. Like, it's just like, come on, man. Like, just cut the shit. Like, every call that you do is a sale, whether you like it or not. Yeah.
You're selling yourself. Yeah. When you go in for a job interview, you're selling yourself. At every point you met your spouse, you sold yourself to them. You are selling, whether you want to admit it or not. You're selling, whether you want to feel sleazy about it because you sold something they didn't need. That's one thing. But if you're offering options, I mean, you go the Joe Crisera method, offer 6 options, or, CEO Warrior, 4 options of 4 futures. I mean, however you're going to do it, you're offering legit options where you're not selling stuff to them. It's you're offering their new flat rate menu pricing, however you want to do it. Like, I just name dropped all these people that, they all do great coaching and mentoring.
But thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mr. Rodney. Thank you, Uncle Joe. Promote all of you guys real fast.
Right. It really is. Just do it, and do it consistently. That's the thing. Like, be consistent about it. Create your process. Figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I'm not a salesperson. I am the world's worst salesperson. I am the salesperson's favorite person, because I will buy anything. Like, I'll just it's fine. You ain't got to sell me. I'll buy it. List price, I'll buy it. I'm just like that. I'm that person. And so when I go to try and sell stuff, I can't sell. But if I offer options, I, as a technician, would go with, let's just change out the capacitor. But our avatar, they value their time. They don't want me back in their house for another 6 or 8 months whenever we're doing the next maintenance visit. So because they value their time, they're like, what do I have to change here? So I pretty much guarantee that you're not going to be back out here for 8 months. I'm like, well, I mean, your contactor is pitted. Your capacitor is, it's slightly outside of range. Mega ohms your motor, you're giving them the options and say, okay, this is exactly what we need. Let's call it a capacitor is bad. Your capacitor is bad. That's what you have to get up and going today. But then you may want to upgrade all of this stuff here. And then the next option would be cleaning it. But if they're already a maintenance customer, obviously you were cleaning it already, but just making that and just doing the same thing every single time. And once it becomes so routine, you value the value. So I find that the people who have the hardest time offering all these things are people who don't buy into it. They don't believe it. They don't believe that that's the case, that it really needed it either. But once you understand the value of the other side of the table, like what they value their time. They don't want to take another day off of work. Like you and I, once we get off of work, we can go slap a capacitor on that condensing unit out of our van. Like that's no big deal. Piece of cake. We need to juice up you got an old R22 unit. We juice it up with some R22. That's no biggie, whatever. But it's so foreign to so many people that they're like, please, I don't want to deal with this again. I don't want to take a day off of work to deal with this. And I don't want to have the uncertainty of dealing with this. Just offer me options. And it's like customers are begging you to offer them options. What's the worst they can say? Yeah. No, let's put a capacitor in. Or no,
plus
let's
you
don't
offer
do anything.
things that a lot of people, they don't even know they exist. Like the water safeties. Like I had a guy one time and I offered him, like I used to just one and I'd package some together, like the hockey puck, an easy trap, and a water alarm. And he was like, well, I got homeowners insurance. I said, you know what, sir, you do. I said, but do you feel like taking off work to deal with all that? I said, or do you want them, once the floor leaks, they got to come in, they got to rip it up. They take, they cut, probably they go up 2 feet and they cut the bottom of your walls out. I said, do you want to do that when we can put this stuff on and you just don't ever have to do that? And he was like, touche, sir, touche.
Good point.
Yeah. So it's just knowing your product like anything else.
Yeah. That's where I fall short myself, even within my business is, I get so excited and I'm like, hey guys, we're going to sell this. And they're like, what the hell is this? And they're like, all right, Tersh, you fell and bumped your head. And then I have to remind myself that although I have read up on this, these guys haven't. They don't know what this product is. And I can do one of two things. I can sit there and I can educate them, or I could ask them to educate. And I'll tell you, any managers that might be listening, one of the most powerful things that I've found is that if you put somebody in charge of releasing that product and then coaching the rest of the team, like that person, whoever's coaching that team or teaches the rest of the team about that product, they're going to know that product inside and out, because they don't want to look like an idiot in front of everybody else whenever they do their weekly meeting or whatever about that product. And that's what we did with the Sensi Predict, with the Emerson Sensi Predict. And I just had one guy that I was like, all right, man, here's 2 of them. Put them in your house where you're going to do it. You're going to see how you like it. You're going to break it. You're going to just do anything you can to terrorize this thing. And then you're going to teach the rest of us how to do it and what the benefit is on it. And so that's what we've done.
I think when it comes to any kind of change or adding a new product or new service, as long as you're consistent with the way that you do that, and don't be too inconsistent, then everyone knows what to expect, basically. But back to what you were saying about just staying consistent with the process, like offering the options every time, using the checklist. We were having a bunch of problems with callbacks last summer. And so we had never used a checklist before, but we implemented a checklist immediately. Callbacks dropped. And I think
now, did you do your checklist through Service
No,
Titan?
I did it actually I was on House Call Pro then. I just switched to back to Service Titan like in June this year. So now we have it in Service Titan.
I set up triggers so that when certain service calls are called, so if it's like a water leak, so an AC water leak service call, and so when you're setting it up on the service call side, on the dispatcher side or whatever, CSR side, it'll automatically trigger certain forms, so they have to go through a certain process, and it annoys my senior guys because they're like, gosh, I got to do this crap and it's like, it won't let me close the invoice. It won't let me complete it until I fill this form out. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I did that on purpose. And, but then the junior guys, they learn, those steps and those processes. And we learned that one from the hard way because we had a water leak issue where the guy was a professional con, like he knew what he was doing. He called us out. It was a rental property and the water had been leaking already. He called us out there for a water leak, clogged drain line in a closet. Water was going all over his hardwood floors already. They're cheap linoleum. I mean, the cheap laminate floors, stuff, whatever, snap lock stuff. Yeah, laminate. Laminate flooring. And it was like the cheapest of cheap laminate from the local box store. And like they make one run of it and they never make another run. So you're never going to match it. And so, and he knew what he was doing when this all happened. And, my guy, the most junior guy, I got the call. It was an after hours call. It was an emergency call after hours. And my guy went out there, blew out the drain, and it went into a hub. So it's not like it was a big old long drain line, nothing. Like he blew it out with nitrogen, and it was flowing water good. He offered a secondary float switch, or the primary drain line float, SS2 float switch. And the guy declined it, but he offered it verbally, did not offer it, didn't have it in writing. And the guy declined it. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm sorry, a month later, he said he called us back and said, it's been leaking since y'all left. And our tenant was out of town on vacation and came back and it's ruined all of our hardwood floors. And we're like, you're so full of shit. Like we had pictures of it, but the pictures weren't enough. And so he was like, he sued us to replace all the flooring in the whole house. It was something like stupid $10,000 or something for this little tiny rental house. And I was like, you're trying to get upgraded flooring on my dime. And we had the pictures, and the service expert, we actually had, parted ways with him, but we're parted ways on good terms. So he was like, I'll go to court. I'll tell them exactly what I did. And we told that to our lawyers. And by this time, like our liability insurance had kicked in or whatever. And they were doing it. And Julie, my wife, went and did it because I was like, if I go and have this mediation with this guy, I'm going to punch him in the throat because he's like straight con artist. And I was mad. I was furious. But she went and met with him and like showed him the pictures, showed him all this stuff. And our insurance company is like, look, we don't care. We'll pay them. We just don't want to pay $10,000. We'll pay $5,000. I'm like, no, we're not paying anything. Like, this is crap. And so they wound up getting out of there paying like $900 or $500 or something like that. And man, the guy, and so Julie, she's the one that did all the negotiating with the mediator and showed the pictures, showed the signed invoices and all these other, like even our the fine print, the second page on Service Titan, that tells you all your terms and conditions. Yeah. And even in there, it says it. And we had some statements about that in there. And the guy, I mean, he had worded everything so well, like you knew he had done this before. And that's exactly what the insurance guy said. The insurance guy was like, look, we've never paid as little as we paid this time because this guy's a professional, and going against people like this, you just aren't going to win. You're always going to pay something out. And we were like, is our premium going to go up? And they're like, no, not over a $500 claim or whatever. If it was 10 grand, maybe it would go up a little bit. But even then, you weren't in the wrong. We could tell that, but in reality, we kind of were, because the guy didn't put it in writing. He should have put it in writing. The guy should have declined it, but he didn't. But now, you get a water leak call, you are going through some processes. You are going to check off these boxes, and you're going to do
we have
all
this stuff. And me and Kelley talk. All you guys and girls out there listening, you hear me and Kelley talk about this shit all the time. And Tersh just gave you a story from an owner standpoint of what he had to go through because somebody didn't CYA, did not cover your ass, which therefore doesn't cover the company's ass on something so stupid. You know it is. Everybody's like, oh, water leak? Oh, this is nothing. They go in there with a little gallo gun. Psh, have a good day. No, motherfucker. You need to blow it out. I want you to watch water come out the other side. You offer them run a new drain line, 18 safety switches. And if they say no to it, yeah, that's
the whole
fine.
System. Like they could decline it all. And the thing about it is I say that it only costs the insurance company $500, but it also costs me peace of mind. Like I'm stressing over it for like a month from the time the sheriff shows up at the house and knocks on the door. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, what the fuck? What just happened? Like the sheriff comes to the house with an envelope in your hand. And you're like, are you taking me to jail? Like, what's about to happen right now? The uncertainty. And then that, right? Yeah, exactly. And so that, and then Julie being out of the office for a day, going to court, me basically being useless for the day because I'm just thinking about what's going on in court. And so like that revenue, the loss of production going on there. So, you're talking thousands of dollars there. And it's just because one guy didn't follow one step that's slightly inconvenient, like offer, fill out the estimate form, approve, declined it. Okay, fine. We're good to go. Like there, at that point, there was no leg to stand on. We wouldn't even have gone to court.
Well, Kelley knows that's why I love processes. I've always been huge on processes, systems. And it's not like you said, like, I love that. And like, here I went from Service Titan to House Call Pro, and it's quite the fucking jump. We'll go back eventually.
House Call Pro is good.
No, they definitely do. But somebody who being in
once you get spoiled by Service Titan,
so that's the thing. And I mean no disrespect, because I think House Call Pro does do some things very well, and I do like some features, but I do miss Service Titan. That's a whole.
Are you using Marketing Pro too, Tersh?
Man, I am OG Marketing Pro. Like I did beta. For a hot minute there, I was doing all the beta stuff, but it got to where it took my attention away from the business so much. Like I was next shiny object. Oh yeah, you're coming out with accounting? Sign me up. Like Marketing Pro, Phones Pro. Like I'll do all that beta. But no, Marketing Pro, I think is the only one that we stayed with after the beta process.
Kelley, doesn't that like the national average, does that automatically change? Like how you were saying, Tersh, to change
once a month. Yeah.
Okay. So that pretty much does what you were saying for you then, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. You still have to put your hours in there. Like you have to make sure your billable hours are accurate.
That they match the hours that are, aren't there some hours already in there? I think there are, but so there'll be some tweaks that I know I'm going to have. I'm just barely beginning. Yeah. Like we just did the 45-minute call today. And so.
Gotcha. Yeah. There's some tweaks to stuff. Cause like, most of your capacitors are built at like 30 minutes or something like that. And then, if you do something. I don't know if you do something special with your capacitors where they all mount one way and it takes an extra 4 minutes. Your service experts are going to be like, man, it takes me an extra 4 minutes every single time. I don't need it to be 32 minutes. I need it to be 36 minutes. All right.
I did notice one thing. There's also like tune-ups, whatever you set your hourly rate in there, since there's no material attached to a tune-up, it just flat out wants to charge that for a tune-up. So I'm going to have to change that, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be your loss leader. And that's something for service experts, man. Whenever you're talking to a service expert it's hard to talk until you've done like, Kelley, you probably know this, the one truck exercise where you like actually have gone through and like how much does it cost for one truck to hit the road? Like until you've done an exercise like that with a service expert, whenever they see, oh yeah, we're charging $89 for a diagnostic, at least I got $90 out of them. Like, no, explicit. It cost us $256 to pull in that driveway. You just gave away a lot of money. You didn't just get $90, and they're thinking, and a lot of times I was guilty of doing the exact same thing when I was a service tech. You're thinking, okay, I'm making $20 an hour, $25 an hour. And, we're charging $90 for this diagnostic fee. So I was only there for 50 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever it was. That's not even a full hour. So we're good. You're like, we're golden. And you don't think about the things like your overhead expenses and all that jive. And so having that constant education, but I don't like being the guy, because I have been the guy who harps on money too. It's like, hey, you got to generate $2,000 a day or we're going to close our doors. Like, we're going out of business if you don't generate $2,000 a day. And then every time you talk to somebody, they're like, I know I got to generate $2,000 a day.
Yeah, I've never been.
I don't want to be that guy either.
One thing that I have a lot of is that I've seen too is like you got a guy that's paying child support or has like a bankruptcy or something, and they're making really good money, but they just don't get to keep it all, and it's just like never enough. They just want more and more. And also, I have my bookkeeper actually go ahead and show me like what is everybody made. We know what their hourly rate is, but we play spiffs and bonuses on all kinds of stuff. So it helps for them to understand exactly what they're really making, because like the minimum,
right? No, not just your hourly wage, but what are you really making? Well,
as an hourly wage, not the one truck exercise, but just like, okay, if I'm paying you $18 an hour, you're actually making, $20.50 an hour and you barely have learned how to sell yet, because I've got other guys that are making $14 extra dollars an hour. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a combo between performance based and just regular hourly,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really nice to have that conversation with someone, whenever you have two guys and you don't want to say nanny boo boo type thing. Like this guy over here, look how much money he's making. Because that could kill somebody's spirits too, I
don't tell him.
But at the same time, it's like, look at this guy. He's doing good. Do like him, But, I mean, we've all been the junior guy there. I mean, that's one of the good things about us coming through the industry and being business owners. Most of us have experienced kind of the same pain points that they're experiencing right now, if they're experiencing them. But it's also very easy for us to forget. But did you
ever work for a leader that talked about the future with you and what's possible? And because I never did. There was no open book. There was no we did this much this month. Nobody talked about anything. So I feel like that's different in my company, because we are an open book. Like my door is always open, and I want to know what the guys are fighting for, and I tell them what I'm fighting for, so we can all fight together,
Yeah, totally. Well, whenever when I was a service tech, I was paid flat rate, and I was money driven, 100% money driven. And I figured out at exactly what hour my taxes started going down, or my pay started going down because of taxes. And I had our bookkeeper start banking it. It was 51 and a half hours. So at 51 and a half hours, if I made more than that, then I had the bookkeeper bank the rest of it. So just on an Excel spreadsheet, keep track of my time over 51 and a half hours. And so then I was basically a salary employee because I got the exact same paycheck every single week. And I was on flat rate. But it was so easy for me to beat their system with just like, I knew which items to sell, right, and which ones to offer. And it pissed off some people in upper management, but at the same time, it was like, all right, he's smart enough to realize this. And it was all the products they wanted pushed. They wanted the products pushed too, but they didn't like the fact that I was like, all right, I'm killing it with these products. They're like, push all the rest of the products. And I was like, well, make those products worth my time and I'll push them, you know? And so it was very common for me to work 8 hours, and I would work 8 hours, bill out 12, work 8 hours, bill out 16. And so it was every single week I had overtime, or I had built up overtime, and I was offered a management job, and they gave me a month off because I had so much bank time between even during the winter time. I'd never went below 51 and a half hours because of using up bank time. And so I'm like, that's what I want my guys to do. Like, I want my guys to figure out that with my price book and just use it. Cause I'll pay my guys flat rate too. And so I have a couple of guys that they're figuring it out, and like when they figure it out, it pisses me off. But at the same time, I'm happy because like, all right, cool. I got some motivated guys, but now, damn it, I got to make sure I get this price book, you know, straight, like make sure I fix whatever that is. And then, but the hardest thing that I'm having is indoor air quality. And it's just because they don't understand it very well. And so that's the hardest thing about pushing indoor air quality. And it's my fault for not sitting them down and educating them properly on it.
We recently signed up with Dynamic.
Oh yeah, Dynamic.
Yeah, and they've got an onboarding process where so we've already went through the 3 trainings with all the guys, and they have you purchase some products so the guys can feel it and we can look at it, and it's been great. And then next week they've got a regional guy that's going to come by our shop and
Sweet.
So we've been learning the technical side of it. Then he's going to teach us how to communicate that with the customer, and then go ahead and do a ride along or 2 and show us how to sell it. So we're excited.
That's even better. Yeah.
All the guys love the training. They're like, every week they're like, man, I'm excited about this new training. And so am I, because it's, you know, it's new.
Now, so, are you paying them to train? Like, are you bringing them in and paying them an hour or 2?
I'm hourly. So yeah, they get paid.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's that's really cool. We pay, like, so that's how we do. Like, if they do have something that's training, quote unquote training, there's a training pay that they just get paid hourly for the training pay. That way they don't feel robbed whenever they do have to do training.
Right.
But yeah, Dynamic is the one that will white label, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they have like Solace Air, which is I don't know if white label, I haven't heard that term. They'll put your brand on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do that. They have a brand called Solace Air that is not available to the public.
Okay.
So
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. It seems to be a really good product. We're excited about selling it. And
I like those filters you showed me about. Those are pretty neat.
Oh, they're killer. Like they're the polarized air media filters, you know?
Yeah.
Years ago, somebody in Wichita in my region was selling those because I get on cleaning checks all the time and I'd have to pull them out and change the filter media in them. But no business that I ever worked for ever sold them. And I haven't seen them for a long time, but it's kind of a different design. Now they've got like a grid in between the 2 the hog hair style filters, and they're glued together with this grid in the middle. And there's a metal plate in the middle that's got an electrode that comes down that energizes it from the power cell. It's a damn good product.
It sounds like, are you familiar with the Train Clean Effects? Is it like that?
No,
the pointy things that are inside of the Clean Effects.
That's this basically, put me on the spot here. So,
I told you.
I know the train clean effects, somewhat. I mean, I know that you've got those needles are where the corona field is, and you've got, the grid. So it fills that grid full of the corona field and charges particles and then goes to the collector plates or whatever. But so it might not filter quite as good as a, train clean effects. I mean, especially like on a 3-ton system, the train clean effects is phenomenal. It was tested. I mean, it's 99.99% of all particulate matter. Well, this is like 97% of all particulate matter down to 0.3 microns, but yet it doesn't have the restriction because it's that hog hair stuff. So when you plug it in, it just takes 24 volts. It energizes all of those little hairs, and all of those little hairs are basically like creating a magnet for particles to stick to them. So it's really cool technology, and
that is neat.
You've got to go up to, I think it's all the way up to MERV 16. Will only filter like down to 1 micron. So you've got to go past MERV 16 to get anything better. Well, this thing is 0.3 microns. Yeah. I mean, way.
Yeah, so it's way up there.
I think they said that to give you an idea, don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 0.5 microns or 5 microns will actually, it's small enough to pass through your lungs. So we're talking 0.3, really? Like amazing. So
yeah, that's way over my head of expertise there. Now you want to talk some Excel spreadsheets?
You'll crush me on that one. I hate Excel spreadsheets. So. Yeah. No, it's cool technology, but their whole onboarding process, that's what was sold me. I'm like, this is awesome, because
that's really cool.
I think IAQ is also good. Like IAQ has always been kind of easy for me because I use the stuff in my own house. Like I believe in it and I see what it does. So I have that passion when I come across to people, and I think that's helped. And when you have somebody that doesn't know the product, has never seen what it can do for them, and they're trying to sell it, it's like, hey, you should buy this. Why should I buy it? I don't know. It fucking cleans the air. Like, do you want clean air?
Right. My boss told me to present it to you. So I'm just
the regional sales guy that's going to be by next week. He says that they'll do like the first 2 weeks after he comes by, or the first month, anything they sell, one of these different products that we're going to be pushing, he'll get one for their home, which is really cool,
Cool.
So
I was going to ask, do any of you guys provide stuff for your techs' houses? I mean, I have, but the problem with that is like, I don't want to cherry pick one or two guys to give products to. I feel like I need to give it to all of them. And then one of them happened to leave 2 weeks after I gave them to him. I'm like, do I go knock on his door and ask him for that iWave back?
Or just hold it out of his last check. Like,
I would do. Or if you've been there, certain, like the senior guys, like, hey, you've been here a long time, man. Like, I want you to breathe clean air, as long as you've been here.
Yeah. All you rookies, you just suck up that dirty air.
You guys are like the cigarette butts of the company. We want you to suck up all the dirty air, breathing up all the. Never mind. Let me stop.
We haven't understood enough about indoor air quality, so we've only sold a few of the train clean effects, and then we've sold a lot of air scrubbers. And
we don't sell any train clean effects.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though we're a train dealer, I mean, we put in the iWave and an April Air, media filter, and put a UV light on a coil and call it a day.
The April Air media filters I think they're the best ones.
They're good. And I had them on the podcast a couple of times, and they they're like, we don't do UV lights. We don't do electronic. We do air filters. That's why we're good at them. Like, okay, good point. Point taken.
Like the ones everybody bitched about replacing, like the wavy ones where you got to put like the hair clips in them, like the hair pick. They're
Space Guard.
They're good, but they're good. Yeah,
I have one in my house.
So it's and another thing is like I know that we're going through some things right now with the whole Better Air stuff, like as far as like the distribution system of that. But I really think that probiotic stuff is the future because that stuff's legit. Like now I have all my stuff turned back on just because of that machine. But once they get the dispersal system down and like some are going to be like Wi-Fi enabled so you can check your juice and stuff. Like now that all that stuff's starting to get down, that stuff's going to be legit, man. Because I saw, like, as somebody who I didn't go from nothing to Better Air. I went from having what I thought was the best on the market to that. And it was like, when James first sent me that stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. This isn't going to do shit. You know what I mean? And then I was like, fuck, like this is pretty wild shit, man.
Yeah, we put some, he sent me one and I put it in my laundry room and that just happened to be where the cat litter was and we had kittens. And man, I was like, I'm not going in there cause that's where our second refrigerator is where we like keep our soft drinks and stuff. Every time I need a drink, hey, one of the kids, y'all go get a drink. I ain't going in that laundry room. That place smells like ass in there. And like, it's just horrible. It's worst place ever to put cat litter box. And so we stuck that machine in there and I mean, the smell went away. I mean, it was just like, I even if it didn't clean the air, the smell went away. So I was like,
people saying like they've had like skin, like our one buddy Zeke, he his dog's paws like aren't all chipped up and stuff. Like it's just, it's amazing shit, man. The stuff like my daughter, like I still keep the 800 and James sends me the little things in her room because I have one of the whole home Better Airs too. But I got to get more fluid. And my daughter, she never would sleep through the night. Like she would always get congested. And with that Better Air, she sleeps through the night. So I'm like, I will find a way to keep that thing running as long as I possibly can. You know, she's going to be 18. I'm going to like fucking snort this. You know what I mean?
That's another thing, you know, that's like Better Air. I mean, we like the recurring income, you know, because, you know, you can keep selling the juice. Well, these filters also, they come with, there's 4 of them. And they're supposed to last 3 months, which they might actually last 3 months because they're just not restrictive. Of course, as the filter gets loaded, it's probably going to filter better and slowly get restrictive. But you can sell those.
Now, these are not washable?
Yeah, not washable.
Gotcha.
So you sell them. It's like a case. Like you open it up and remove the filter, put a new one in. Yeah. But
gotcha.
But there's an opportunity, you know, when we go back for a prepaid maintenance, hey, it's time for some new filters, you know? So
now, whenever you with those, I was about to say, I forgot what I was going to ask, but I remember now. Do you still use the 1-inch filters like at your return plenums? I mean, your return grills, filter grills or whatever?
This fits. No. It's 1 inch. So it takes the place of any just regular throwaway filter, which is why it's so appealing. Yeah.
That is nice.
So,
but what if your return filter grill is at the other end of the house? You have to run a 24 volts down there?
You can even mount them with, as long as you do like a bit tip screw or a recessed screw, you can mount them in a ceiling return air filter grill if you needed to, but you're still going to have to run, you know, thermostat wire to power it up. But yeah, that's why it's appealing, because it'll replace any 1-inch filter. Like,
that is
to catch that 97% and go down to catch such small particulates for 1 inch is pretty badass.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to offer media filters, but let's be honest, not everywhere can fit a media filter. I mean, you just,
right.
Even some installs, people are like, I want it. I'm like, you can't have it. I'm like, I want you to have it, but I can't sell it to you because I have no fucking place to put it. Like, We already got 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bucket. Like I can't do it. So something like that would be awesome. And I'll get your guys' feelings. I'm not real huge on UV lights though either. Like, I mean,
yeah, we hardly sold any.
We'll put them on coils. We'll put them on coils because our coils stay wet all year long. Even during the winter, it's wet. So we'll put them on coils. But people have to understand that this isn't going to clean your air in the ductwork. This ain't going to clean your ductwork. This ain't going to clean all the air in the whole house. Like, this is going to kill anything that it shines this light on for an extended period of time. So if it's not shining its light on you for 6 hours, it's not going to kill that virus. It's not going to kill that microbial, whatever.
Yeah, the air's not sitting there long enough. It's passing by so fast. Like I was explaining to somebody, like those like commercial dishwashers. Like you put dishes in one side, you close it, you close this side. Oh, let's clean the air. Okay, let it out. That's why I like the Air Nights, the Remy Halos, and stuff like that, because it's aggressive. As it kills it. I do like them. Like that's the only place I would put one on a coil, even though at my house, I have one on my coils and I have the one on the return right before my media filter that's got the charcoal filter and the UV light. And I think I only did it because I didn't really pay for it. They gave it to me. But I wouldn't sell that to a customer. Like if that bulb dies, I'm not fucking replacing it. But yeah, I like that other side. And one thing they do here, and I told Kelley, is we have a machine like to sanitize, like
like duct cleaning, like your duct cleaning machine.
Well, no, it's separate. Sanitize? Like you hook it up to the blower door, and I guess it's almost like fogging. It sanitizes it, and apparently we pay like less than $10 for the solution, and the blower actually blows it through, and this actually kills like all molds. Viruses, germs, and it's you can say like they said on the solution, like it kills COVID-19.
I asked him if it was just like the fogger from the Rotobrush, because we have that. Yeah. But I know that Rotobrush sends me emails all the time, and they had some type of a solution that was something for that. Yeah. Do you guys use that, Tersh? Or yeah.
We let's use this term loosely. Do we use it? We own it. We offer it. How often does it actually get sold?
We do a fogging with every duct cleaning, just the fogging, because it's it doesn't take much to do it. But I never purchased that solution that Gil's talking about.
Yeah, I told the guys I want you to sell it on every PM call. I think we only charge like $125 to do it.
Yeah,
exactly. Cheap. How many machines do you have?
Yeah, that would be the problem for me. Machines.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I think 2.
Or getting them trashed on my little minivans.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 of them. So a guy has to go back. I wanted to raise the price at least up to like $195 or something like that, just because the guy's going to have to go back and do it. But
does it give any scent at all?
I don't think it does. I think.
The only concern that I have, like, even though we know that the scent isn't what kills the virus or anything else and whatever it's killing,
did something.
Yeah, they smell it and they're like, okay, yeah, we're clean.
Yeah. I think it does have that clean smell, like you just like pine salt the floor kind of deal. So I do think it does have a scent. And to be honest, I've had guys selling the shit. I haven't seen it work yet. So I'm not even gonna lie. But I know,
as long as they
I know the value in it. And the duct machine with the camera, I told these guys to offer this stuff. Like there's so many people that want to do it. I'm like, that fancy machine sitting on the truck doesn't do anything if you don't offer it to anybody. And when I did these ride along with these guys who thought we got one guy here, he gets it. He knows how to sell. Like I rode with him the other day and he doesn't need my help. He knows what he's doing. Like I could show him a few things, but he's good. Like the guy I was telling you about before we started talking to Tersh, and his average ticket in the summertime was like $170. And I went out with him. We did like $4,000 and he's all like, thank you, Gil. Thank you, Gil. And I'm like, no, man, it's just showing you the basic things. Like I said, we didn't offer these people anything they didn't need. Like we said before, every house needs a wet switch. Every house wants cleaner air. They all want clean duct work. It's just, you can't sell what you don't offer. They can't buy what you don't offer.
And they can't buy anything they don't know that you even offer.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they don't know the product exists.
Yeah. And I don't know if you do it. I mean, on like repairs, are you guys offering like finance like options?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything down to $50.
Yeah. Like we made this laminate sheet that literally goes from like, I think we have like 500 all the way up to like buying a system, all of our different plans through the finance company and what their payment would be. And it's like, oh,
we don't even do that. I mean, just on our tablets, it's just like, this is what the payment would be. Like, we don't even offer like the full price whenever we're presenting options. It's always the finance price. That's the first option that they're presented with.
That's how we did it before with Service Titan. And I really, really do miss Service Titan.
Are you using Green Sky then in Service Titan?
Mm-hmm.
We're signed up. We just haven't sold anything off of it. We're still using Wells Fargo.
Sweet baby Jesus. You watch out for those fees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we know.
You're going to have to pay a credit card fee on top of on top of whatever your dealer fee is.
Well, Green Sky?
So.
Yeah.
Ooh. I think here they use like Service Finance or something at this company.
Service Finance is a really good program. I'll probably go to it before long, but we use Turns as the second look, and then Green Sky. But Green Sky is great, and sometimes you just got to close the deal at 0% for 60. But you got to realize that you like even negotiated rate, even if you're doing it at 16% on dealer fees, and then you get another, call it 3% credit card fee. Like, we're at 19%. Mm-hmm. Like 19% of that $25,000 job that you just had to use 60%. What's 19% of that job? Like that's, that might be the net profit on the job. So
that's like that lady today I was talking about. Can you finance it longer? Like, I'm giving it to you dirt cheap. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
Yeah. But I have found that, especially me, someone who I love selling high-end equipment. Like, when I present it, like I get a lot of the 20+ SEER stuff, but people live in that middle, like the 16 SEER 2-stage, 18 SEER inverter stuff through Carrier, or whatever brand, but I'm just familiar with Carrier. And the financing stuff, adding all those other things, like let's clean the ducts, let's sanitize them while we're here, let's put the UV light in and the Remy Halo, and we do all that, and it only adds fucking $20 to your payment. So
that's when you understand that aspect of it, selling gets a lot easier. But just getting someone who is technically minded, like they're super technical, to also understand that's like a unicorn. You know what I mean? Like that's just not normal to understand both sides of that realm and can be able to offer it without it feeling forced. Does that make sense? And sometimes, so with us, we're very lucky because everybody that works with us started out green. They didn't know anything about anything when they started with us. So we literally could mold them. Cause like one of them, a guy was doing a ride along, and we've always used big blue hoses, and then hooked them straight from, like, pulled the Schrader core out, hooked it straight to the Schrader core remover tool, hooked it from there straight over to the vacuum pump, like no manifolds, no nothing. And he comes and does a ride along, and Matt's like, this guy don't know what the hell he's doing. I told him to go get the vacuum stuff, and he's bringing me manifolds. He's bringing his Yellow Jacket analog gauges. And I'm like, yeah, so that's how the things used to be done. But the way we do things, like, he was like, well, I didn't know that's the only way we've ever done it. You hook up your blue hoses, and you hook them straight into your vacuum pump, and you pull it down for 5 minutes, watch your micron gauge, and then decay test it, and let her rip, tater chip. Like, and there's no pulling it through little tiny hoses. He was like, man, when I seen him doing that, I looked at him like he had 4 heads. Like, I didn't know what he was about to do.
That's good though. It's good when they only know the right way.
That's the whole thing with us, is like, if they only know that you offer financing, like that's what they think everybody does. So like they don't know that there's a different way of doing things. So, but then on the other hand, it's like, you got to spend 6 months like making sure they're golden, or either dealing with their stupid callbacks that someone who's super experienced won't have.
Well, I think you said this, Kelley, like a lot of these techs go out there and they think with their own checkbook. Like maybe they're horrible with their finances, and they're like, they talk to the customer and they relate it on something. And they're like, oh, well, I can't afford this $1,000 thing, so these people can't afford it. Like, you don't know what the hell they can afford.
And a lot of the super experienced techs really, they stopped learning after 5 years. So the last 15 years, they've just been repeating that same year over and over again. They don't know shit. Like
you're lucky if they got to 5 years when they stopped.
Yeah, exactly.
Or now they
I was
learn
being
just
generous.
Yeah, now they learn just enough to be dangerous, and then they stop. Because now they got enough to carry a tune and fuck the rest of the song or the hook. Let's say I saw a guy on his truck. One of the guys here on his truck, I saw a contact cleaner. And I grabbed it out of his truck and I threw it in the fucking dumpster. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, sell a fucking contactor.
Are you like they were going to clean a contactor points?
Yeah. I was like, this isn't commercial maintenance. Even commercial maintenance, I'm like, replace the contactor.
Yeah, even on a commercial maintenance. I mean, maybe industrial, you're doing something like that, but nah, fam.
It's a wear and tear item,
Go get you some new contactors and swap them bad boys out.
I was like, right in the dumpster. He was like, what are you doing? I'm like, you don't need that. I'm like, those contactors that got dust on them? Yeah, sell those. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, that's like you were talking about interplay learning, and I am fanboy interplay learning. So we use interplay in our business. All of our guys, like at competition, like I provide interplay learning for all of our entire team. And we compete constantly on it. And that the contacts, like I didn't know about industrial. So we don't do industrial. I'm not an industrial person. But they were talking like about how rebuilding contactors and contacts and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, like I'm not going to let my guys learn this method because like we ain't cleaning shit. Like we're replacing them contactors.
I only got it from my technicians, but they're kind of in a competition too, to get through it, and I told my guys, like, once they get through all the modules, they're going to know a lot more. They're going to, hell
yeah. I did stuff on the compressor one. And I was like, man, that makes so much more sense. I remember wondering back in the day. Now I know why the compressor did that. Like, wish I'd known that 15 years ago.
Right? I told all my guys, when you get through all the modules, you get $1 raise. So
hell, I give my guys $1 raise if they get through like one session of modules.
No, I've got 2 guys that are heavy into it. And then of course it's kind of, it's 80-20 rule. You got some hungry guys and some that aren't. So
yeah, well, and like I said with that, like, how it is, even like you're with your wife in the military, like guns. Like, I don't care how good your score was last time, you could be an expert or you got the pizza box. It doesn't matter, but you got to go do it again every year. And this is some way to keep your techs like, hey man, like every year I need you to be recertified on this. I want to know you're top of your game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'll tell you on a hiring note, if you're going to hire someone who's a super tech, because I had this happen and I gave them the assessment test and they failed it 4 times. And then the 5th time when they took it, they scored a 76 on it. And I'm like, yeah, you don't know as much as you think you know. Yes, you failed it with 20s the first 2 times that you failed the assessment test on HVAC, like not even hard stuff. And so like it really it evens out the playing field because he was a really good interviewer and we were on the verge of hiring him, but he just didn't know what he thought he knew.
And they know all this stuff until they got to fix something.
It's happened to me a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've had that happen before and then be like, what in the hell? You said you knew all this stuff. Like how you said you have 20 years experience. You don't know how to pull a vacuum. Like you don't pressure test it before you pull the vacuum. Like
I'm talking like,
how do you know if you have a leak or not?
Well,
it won't pull down if it has a leak.
Asshole. Like that's not liquid right there.
I'm talking 35 years experience, an after hours call, come out, press the reset button and walk away on a ream.
On a ream. Uh-huh.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, do you know anything? You know,
you're good.
It's always the board.
Right.
Bad, man. Board's bad. You know, the board's bad on the AC. It doesn't have a fucking board. Yeah. You know, there was a girl in the office and calling around looking for the board, and there is no board on it. That's
it's like blinker fluid.
That's crazy. I heard that story today, and I was just like, that's nuts. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that dude with 35 years experience, he actually taught some night classes at our local trade school. Yeah, it's very scary. It does.
That explains a lot. I had a guy that changed the contactor on every service call he went on. I was like, man, you're just killing it with these contactors. You took to heart your $5 spiff on selling contactors. But the kicker is they have to bring the old contactor back to me, so I have to inspect it. And he was going town selling contactors. But get this, he can't read a wiring schematic. So if his picture screwed up or he got blurred or something where he couldn't put it back the same way, you can hang it up. I was out there, somebody else was out there and I'm doing something like no wiring diagram, and I'm just tracing wires. I'm like, all right, this is one side, and this is one side. Like, let's just go. It was like so mad because this guy, and then it wound up not being the capacitor. It was a broken wire on a low pressure switch. And I'm like, ooh, I'm mad right now. You don't want to talk to me.
You know, I'll take the guy that doesn't know something all day than the guy who thinks he knows everything and doesn't know dick, you know?
Because you can't teach him anything.
No.
You know?
It's
as long as the guy that knows nothing is teachable.
Well, true.
Funny story. So I thought I would be, I try to be a cool boss, right? So there's this guy, his name's Marcio Navarro, and he was an MMA fighter, and he's in our area. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool to get Marcio out here and just have him teach my guys a couple of moves, right? So this guy, this 35-year experience guy, he's literally 10 minutes into it, he takes over the class. He's like, oh, did you show him this one? You got to show him this one. I'm like, you fucking douchebag. Shut the fuck up. Like that, but that's just
right.
That's the kind of person he was. So you
can't
teach him anything.
That's embarrassing.
He'll never learn another thing the rest of his days because he knows it all. So
or the one-uppers.
Dude,
they've done everything you've done, but they've done it better.
It was embarrassing.
It's crazy. I hate those people. Like, oh man, you won $100 on a scratch off. I won $250, man. Yeah, I do it every other week. Yeah.
I won 105.
Sorry, man. You know, yeah. It's like if that makes you fucking validate yourself, you got it, tool bag. Fucking Stanley. Mm-hmm. But all right, fellas. Well, fuck. It's 11:30. I knew that we'd sit here and talk, and it would just keep going. But we have to get you to come back every so often to do stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm down. Like
or at least call you and just bullshit sometimes because you're putting out 45 podcasts a week, and yeah,
feels
it does
like
because I heart all of them. And I'm like, I thought I just did this.
I said, oh, Gil's fault. Well, I'll give you a little bit of FYI too. I have a lot of automation built, so I'm kind of an automation junkie. If this happens, then this is automatically triggered to this happen, and blah 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 blah. Same with Service Titan. If a job is completed, then it I don't do it. It automatically creates a job notification for a task management notification for the CSR to perform a happy call. So I have it just automatically built out with Zapier and stuff like that. So all of my podcast stuff, every time a podcast releases every Wednesday, my RSS feed automatically triggers to start uploading more episodes, and it will only upload another episode towards Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, but it only do it every 6 hours. And so it's not releasing another episode, it's just regurgitating old episodes. And since there's 475 of them, you don't get any duplicates for a long time. And so it does it every 6 hours, every time it gets triggered.
I like that. Well, Calendly has been a lifesaver for me, man. When you said something like that, I love that. How do you share it on Instagram? Oh, yeah. Like, I don't really know dick about Instagram. Like, how are you sharing the podcast on Instagram, the audio?
So it goes from Zapier to Buffer, and Buffer to Instagram. It goes to from Buffer to Instagram to LinkedIn to Twitter and Facebook. And Facebook, I have it sharing in like 6 different groups, and on my business page and my influencer page and my personal page. So it gets shared all over the place. Anybody that follows any of my stuff sees it.
That's constantly. One thing I started doing with our podcast. Like when we first started, like I would put it in like all the different HVAC groups. And then like I stopped and I only shared it in HVAC Uncensored. And that's the only time that's the only place I ever share my, I don't put it in any other groups.
That's the same. The only groups I put mine in are groups that I own.
Yeah. And I just think
I try to anyway.
And like I see some people that they put it in every other group, and I'm just like, that's going to piss people off more than
it just gets old. Yeah. If you want to, but it also at the same time I agree with you 100%, and I'm on the same boat as you, but I understand like if nobody's ever heard of my show and they are in one of the owners groups, and like other people will share it. And I'm like, oh yeah, sweet. You shared it in the group. It's not me sharing it, but some people do value the podcast. I mean, a lot of people value the podcast, but if someone else isn't sharing it and I'm not sharing it, then the new people might not ever hear about it, you know? So it's kind of a catch-22
that's why when people doing the good things, like I like to shout out other people, you know, because now that I have a platform, like you have a platform to people, you know, thousands of people listen to us. It's like, hey man, if you don't know this podcast, like you should be listening to it because it's good. But
you're right.
I've just got, I don't like push people that like, I don't like, you know what I mean? Well, it's just like you gotta be like, you gotta have like good information and be like a good person, you know, or I'm just not, you know, I'm not douchebags and just not doing it. Like, I'll just leave it at that. But, it's just, I think now it's just, I don't know. I feel like a broken record when I say this. And I know that you're kind of the same way as far as how you are is we will always talk more about our failures than we ever will our successes. And I feel like our industry has gotten to a point with a lot of people, and I'm not saying names to anybody. So if somebody takes this to heart, I don't mean it towards anyone, but it's like, hey, look at me. I'm better than you. And it's just, it's getting fucking annoying. It's really fucking annoying. It's just like, you know, and there's a lot of people out there crushing it that you don't know because they're not worried about what you think. They're not telling you. They're not fucking doing the Captain Morgan on Facebook. You know, it's Or
there's some guys that are straight killing it net profit wise, and they're only doing $3 or $4 or $5 million, but just killing it with net profit and like living great. I mean, live in areas where the cost of living is really low, and being able to keep, you know, 20% of 5 million, you know, they're in hog heaven, you know, but you don't hear about those guys because they're not doing 70 million, 100 million, you know, that type of stuff. Yeah. So.
It's crazy. Or it's like unrealistic stuff, or like, it's
that too.
I don't know. I'll stop that before I get myself in trouble. But yeah, I guess we're gonna go ahead and end this, man. Tersh, thanks for coming on, brother. You know I appreciate you, man. I love what you do out there. The value that you give to these people. I love listening to your podcast. So if you don't listen to, obviously you gotta listen to Uncensored first, then you go listen to Tersh, right? Okay. Listen to them both. As long as you download them, listen to it when you get time, but make sure you download it first. So
download and give reviews.
The reviews are good, man. I got to start checking some of the other platforms.
Yes,
I only listen on Apple, so that's the only ones I normally ever look at. So yeah, I definitely got to do that. But all right, buddy, let's close this out, Kel.
Thanks for coming on, Tersh. This was fun. I hope that I feel like the gist of everything we kind of talked about tonight was primarily back to basics, right? I mean, I know during the summer, I am totally guilty. We fell off the wagon. We were not staying consistent, but it's easy during the summer. The sales come easy. The option, wasn't doing that great on options, but now that things slow down, it's let's get back to the basics. So I hope you guys, everyone listening, I hope you caught that and now you're focused on doing that. Because ultimately it's all about the little things that we just do right consistently. That's what leads to success. There's no silver bullet. There's no ultimate strategy that will just, crush everything. It is the consistency day in and day out. So, anyhow, guys, hope you enjoyed this podcast. Appreciate you listening. Thanks again, Tersh, for coming on. Thanks, Gil, for hosting, and love you guys. Go make money.
Yeah, man. Same here, man. This was good. I love talks like this, man. You got three, I guess I can call myself business owner now. 3 business owners, 3 people that have been in the trade, that have worked up through the trade. Just hearing some honest things, and it just kind of reinforces a lot of the stuff that we always say, like Tersh's story about, having to deal with somebody not covering their ass about a water leak, it just makes you realize why we say what we say, and why a lot of your company maybe has this process in place, or why you do what you do. You always knew you were supposed to do it, but you never knew what could happen. That's what can happen. And that's why I love these shows, man, because it's just really, this is us just talking and you guys listening to our conversation. You know what I mean? This really wasn't an interview, and I knew this wasn't going to be that way because we have a relationship with Tersh. So yeah, I love this show, man. If you guys like this, let us know. We'll do some more of this kind of stuff. But we hope you guys are all killing it out there. We hope that you guys have changed the mindset. Everybody's, got that swinging ding dong in summertime when the phone's ringing off the hook. But, we'll see if you're really pleasure when it comes wintertime, when you're short and shriveled. So, so it's make sure you're making the adjustments that you need to make in your business as far as your pricing. Like me and Kelley talked about last week, sometimes the wintertime gets to where if you can make money, great, but sometimes it's okay just not to lose money, just to get by till the money making time again. So obviously you guys always know if we can help you in any way, you know how to get in touch with us. HVACuncensored@gmail.com. Tersh, if you want to give your email real fast.
Oh, you can email me, tersh@serviceemperor.com.
Yeah. So, we're always available to help people. I mean, that's why we put ourselves out there. We're not know-it-alls. We just try to dig into things to learn as much as possible. And if we can ever help anybody, we always do that. So, as always, guys, be safe out there, man. Always make it home the same way you left. Do the little things that the next guy's not doing. Set yourself apart. I say this stuff every week. Guys, I hate to say it, it's not really hard to be good at what you do. You just have to have a little pride in it and just do a little extra. There's so many shitbags out there doing the bare minimum. So if you really want to be better than the next guy, it's not hard. All right. But I love you guys, man. We appreciate each and every one of you for sticking by us for as long as you have. Like I said, if you do not already download Tersh's podcast, please go to the Service Business Mastery Podcast. It's on all the major podcast apps. Until then, I'll talk at you motherfuckers next week, man. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.